So the next two kits I'm going to show you are the mossed hyacinth planter kit and the little white hyacinth kit. So I'm going to show you the planter. It's exactly the same for the little kit. In fact, if you go back through the videos, there will be, I believe, one on the little white hyacinth kit, because we had it last month and they sold out so quickly, and I had lots of messages from people asking, please bring back the hyacinth, I missed out. So we have done for March. So you will find that tutorial a little bit further back, and I think it will be called the little white hyacinth kit, I assume, something like that, and it's exactly the same. So I'll show you how to do the planter. So in your kit you will get your gravel, your compost and your 3 types of moss, your birch twigs, your pot and your hyacinth. What was I going to say? I just thought of something then. Can't remember. Anyway, so in the planter it comes in this gorgeous like scalloped grey planter. It's new to our collection last month, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how well you've received these kits, because you know we used to do, well, we primarily did the rose terracotta, and that's, I think, still, you know, the favourite and everyone loves it. But I think for certain interiors, if your home is a certain kind of palette, I think these work beautifully. They're so sort of neutral and you know, understated, and I think they work really nicely. So yeah, I'm really glad that you've loved them. I'm a little bit relieved actually. So yeah, I'm glad that the grey is, you know, up there with the rose now. So let's get started. So in your kit, just add in the gravel, excuse me, that's in your paper bag. So just pop it all in. The reason for it is just the drainage, just a light layer along the bottom of the pot. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And then add in your compost. So let's move these birch twigs out of the way. Got it? Gone. So add in your compost so that you've got about 1 or 2 centimetres, maybe a bit less, let's see, hang on. So this is the same in the little kit. So you're adding in your gravel at the bottom and then bringing your compost up towards the top of the pot. So I would say you probably need about 1.5 inches of space between the compost and the top of the pot. Okay. So that's your compost in. So now we can put the bulbs in. So taking the bulbs after you've watered them out of their pot. Now you can simply gently sort of crumble the compost away into your pot. So keep that in, you can benefit from those nutrients. And then you're simply going to place your hyacinth down on top of the compost. And then we're going to work in a sort of triangle. So this one, so gently kind of crumble the compost and loosen up those roots. It's quite satisfying. And then simply push that down into your compost. And then the last one, yours will be sort of more compact than this. These we've probably had, they've been sat outside the studio, but we've probably had them for a good 2 weeks and they're only just starting. So yeah, yours will be super fresh and should last a decent amount of time. Okay, so they are just looking lovely, and even just the look of the white roots against the black compost is just gorgeous. So if you want to, and I'll show you how to do this now, you don't have to cover the base with with moss. You can show, you know, the different textures, and then it draws your eye in and out of all the different things that are going on in this gorgeous little planter. Okay, so let's add the moss in. So you have your flat moss, which is this carpet moss here. Then you have your bun moss. You only have a little bit of this because it's probably not the best or the easiest moss to use in this kind of kit. So we've gone heavy on the flat moss. And then you'll have a tiny bit of the sphagnum moss just to add tiny little touches of texture. So if I show you adding in the flat moss first, so I'm just tucking that around the bulbs because we want to see those bulbs, because again, it's all about different kind of textures and tones that make the kit so much more interesting and exciting when you have it, you know, on your kitchen table or on your island or on a sideboard. Okay, and then we're going to add in the bun moss, which is the chunky one. I'm just going to add a little bit of that in the middle. I'm going to take off the back root structure. I'm just going to place that in the middle on top of the compost, and I'm going to add in some sphagnum moss, just little touches here and there. But then I'm going to make sure that there are gaps in the moss so you can see those lovely roots. I've just lifted some of those out. That's absolutely fine. That will not damage the hyacinth at all. Straighten him up a bit. So just so that you can see all those lovely roots and some of that black kind of compost, it just adds another dimension to your kit. Okay, so that is exactly the same. You would plant that in exactly the same way with just one hyacinth. Okay, so now let's add in our birch twigs. So now these are dried, so they don't need, you know, to go into a water source per se. They'll just go into the compost just to sort of stabilize them. And you can cut them as long or as short as you like. If you find that you've got quite a warm room and your hyacinth have grown quite leggy, which basically means they've bolted almost, they've gone quite quickly, and therefore their sort of stems will be a little bit less sturdy and strong, you can use some, you know, just some green string or some twine just to kind of group them together and provide that support. But the twigs will provide a little bit of structure as well to them. Now, in terms of care for your hyacinths, they need a nice bright place. Keep them damp, the soil damp. Don't let them dry out. Nice sunny place, keep them damp, as cool as possible, but don't worry too much. It's not going to kill your hyacinth if they're in a warm room. It will just mean they'll bloom quicker, and they might be, you know, they might grow a bit taller, a bit faster, but that is absolutely fine. So as cool as possible, but don't worry too much. Nice and sunny, and keep the soil damp. And there you have it. So those are your hyacinth kit. So you've got your little white hyacinth kit. As I said, there is a video on that a little bit further back, but it's exactly the same as this, and this is your